Morning YouTube. Here we are. It is January 16th, 2018. It is the B Cup. Good morning. Lots of fun. I'm going straight to YouTube right now. I'm going straight to hold on. I'm going straight to Facebook right now. How is everybody? We're going to do cuz I'm a little late this morning. So, we're going to talk about love. Loving yourself. What does that mean? Are you loving yourself? Let me go here. There we go. Good morning, kids. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning. It's the B Cup. You have your coffee. It is January 16th, and I need to do a disclaimer for both of you kids here, YouTube and Facebook. I am not a representation of the LGBT community. I do not represent anybody but myself. I do not speak for the transgender community. I speak about my own life, my own activities, what I believe in the world, and I really encourage you to start having an opinion about the community that you're in and having your own thoughts. You are allowed to do that as a human being. We must encourage people to have dialogue. We are not doing that, and it's causing a lot of problems within not only our community, but the world, as you see. So, let's encourage each other to have dialogue. Let's encourage each other to talk about things. Let's encourage each other to disagree, to agree. Let's encourage each other to what? Have our own opinions. It is okay. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Could you imagine if we all started thinking alike? Could you imagine how weird that would be? It's very cultish behavior. So, good morning, Phoenix and Brendan and Katrina and Halden and I love seeing all of you and Cheryl and Tori and Wake and Bake and Carrie. Good morning, my friend, and Tori. And I said that to you and Wendy. It's snowing everywhere. Good morning, Star, Leon, and Francisco. Buenos dias, senor. Mm, This morning, this morning I have a lot of foam in my coffee. I made a nice foamy one. Look, just for you. If you know, I do it so I can do this. Anyway, one of the bad things about having a mustache is stuff gets stuck in it, and then if you don't know it, and nobody tells you you have a mustache with stuff in it, it's kind of gross. So Cheryl says no. So where are you, Cheryl? Or where are you at, Katrina? So what did I write this morning on our page, on our Facebook page? Do you really love yourself? Do you? I also want to get into a conversation about what's going on with the Me Too generation, which I think is amazing. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a difficult discussion to start to have, but I think we should have it, and I'm the man to start that conversation. It's a very difficult way to maneuver around this whole Me Too thing that's happening, which is a very powerful movement. It's a movement that needs to be done. It's a movement that will start to save lives. It's a movement that will start to help women specifically, or people who feel disconnected, being able to be in a sexual situation. It will help a lot of us, but we need to have a discussion outside of that, because there's other things happening here that I think people want to talk about, but they're too nervous to talk about it because it can get you deemed as somebody who's against the whole Me Too thing. I am 100% about the Me Too movement that's happening, but I also want to talk about some things that are happening that could make a left turn. Chris says, I love the tank top and the man. Thank you, my friend. Good morning. And it's no snow in South Carolina. Rochelle says, hey, Buck, you have stuff in your stash. Do I? I thought I cleaned it up. I can put some stuff in my stash for you. Like this. Mm. Just kidding. I don't need children watching. So, Houston shut down. Cheryl, Houston is shut down? Why? Halden says, I'm on an apprenticeship committee, and a trans apprentice was just laid off from employer right after coming out. They are scared about repercussions if filed Tell me a little bit more about that in an email, or we can discuss that now, Halden, because that's very disturbing news. I don't like that at all. Good morning, Castile. Nice to see you, my friend, and Chris. Um, Stephanie, good morning, my friend. So, no school, too much ice. The world is going crazy. Let's discuss, do you really love yourself? And do you understand what that means? I can only tell you now how I feel when I learn to love myself. And part of learning to love yourself is really speaking your mind. And part of learning to love yourself is saying no. And part of learning to love yourself is saying yes. And part of learning to love yourself is knowing that you can and will do anything in order for you to be happy in the world, not other people. Remember that somebody gave me this great analogy the other day. They said, when you're in an airplane and they tell you if we're gonna crash in the airplane, what is the first thing they tell you to do? The oxygen mask comes down. You put the oxygen, they tell you to put the oxygen mask on you first before the person next to you. Why do they do that? They tell you to do that in order for you to be able to save or to be able to to save other lives, because it's the same thing about self-care and self-love. If you don't put your own oxygen mask on every day, you can't take care of other people or take care of doing other things. You must take care of yourself first. That's why they tell you to put the oxygen mask on first before any. Good morning, Alex. Nice to see you. Good morning, Farrell. You're first. So always think about that in the example of using an oxygen mask in an airplane. You're going to put it on you first before the other person in order to be able to, what? Be alive and save lives. So how are you loving yourself? Are you not loving yourself? Do you think that you are, but maybe you're not, right? Are there things in your life that are going wrong and you're not understanding why they're going wrong, or you're not focused enough? That's not self-care, and that's not self-love. Alex says, Dad, guess what? I got a boyfriend and he's so supportive. Yay, Alex. Way to go. See, there are people out there for us, but you have to love yourself first in order to attract that type of person, because that's what people are going to be attracted to with you. And you're going to get a top quality when you love yourself first, because you're going to be much more aware of the people you bring into your life. It's a real thing, I'm telling you. And loving yourself is not being selfish. And loving yourself is not being narcissistic. And loving yourself is not being an egomaniac. Loving yourself is taking care of you so that you can also take care of others. And then you can also, if I didn't take care of myself, I could never do this every day. You know, I do this every day. I could never do this every day if I didn't wake up going, I love myself. I'm a happy person. I enjoy my life. I am so grateful for everything I have the opportunity to do. It is a really blessed way to wake up in the morning with those thoughts in your head. We all wake up with negative thoughts. I do it. Everybody does it. It's a matter of changing those negative thoughts, being aware of the negative thoughts, and being able to literally switch gears. Switch gears and go, nope, that's not happening to me today. If I start my day with that attitude, I'm not going to have a nice day. So that really is something where I want to encourage you to learn to really love yourself. Brendan says, with my ex, I put his needs before my own. I've done that a million times. I got so wound down, I became suicidal. With my new partner, he insists I put myself first. He's been such a positive influence in my life and taught me how to love myself and my body as it is the moment. He is also helping me move forward in my transition. That's love. Because that person loves themselves, they're able to love you on a whole way. You see how that works? That's a perfect example of that. Nanda says, I feel like I don't love myself. A bit I hate, little less. Tell us a little bit more, Nanda. And where are you from? Are you living here in the States, or where are you from? But listen, of course, we don't all just automatically love ourselves. Most of the time we learn to hate ourselves because of the social influence of we're not good enough. You're not really a man because you have a vagina. You're not really a man because you're transgender. We get a lot of negativity from the world. And so and not just trans people, and not just gay people, and not just, lesbians. We all get it. Every human gets some form of negativity. We get body issue bullshit. We get gender issue bullshit. We get financial bullshit. If you don't have a fucking job where you're making $50 billion a year, you're a loser. We get all of these kinds of negative feed from the world. It is up to you to understand that that is false information. That's false negativity coming at you because that's false. To be happy, you don't have to have a job that makes you $50 million a year. To be happy, you don't have to have a specific kind of body. To be happy, you don't have to be a specific type of gender, right? That's false information that they are feeding us. So I understand we have to remove that layer of negativity that has been put on us pretty much from day one of being a person. Pretty much of popping out and becoming a person. We've been inundated with negative feedback, inundated with this is how you have to look, especially in certain places like California, Los Angeles. We have such an idea of how you're supposed to look as a man, how you're supposed to, especially here. There's a lot of this idea that you must look this way. I look this way because I want to look this way, not because you tell me to look this way. I look this way because it's the way that it makes me feel the best to walk through the world. That's the point that I'm trying to make for you. What's your style? What's the way you want to present to the world? You're allowed to do that. It's an actual real thing. You need no validation from anybody. Zero. If you want to walk around with one ponytail in your head over here on the side, do it. Maybe you're going to change in a week, but do it. I'm encouraging you to do all the things that you've always wanted to do. Everything that you've always wanted to do. You want to go get a tattoo? Do it. Do it. But remember, it's going to be there forever. Do the things that you actually want to do to your body to create this physical way, because also your physical being does play into the way you feel mentally. I'm a big believer of that. When you feel really secure of yourself also on the outside, it also helps you feel secure on the inside. I'm only telling you that from my own experience. From me today, I feel so secure in the way I look on my outside that it also helps me feel secure in my mental way that I feel on the inside, if that makes sense. Because I built this idea of myself only for me, not for you. Now, when I get people who like the way I look, that makes me feel happy because it's what I've always wanted to be. So I get that validation. I don't need that validation, but I get it. And it makes me really realize I did build my own self out of my own self-image and my own idea of what I wanted to be. I encourage you to do that. It is very important that you find your own space. Nanda says, I'm from Brazil, lesbian, but 2 years ago I discovered I have OCD. Even with meds, it's a fight every day. Have you tried CBD? But I'm not sure if it's legal in Brazil. So, yes, OCD can take you out. I have a couple friends who have OCD, and it's an intense situation. And medication on top of that can also lead. You know, I'm also not a big believer of big pharma medication, though I do believe that it works for some people. You need to figure out the space for you, my friend, that is. But I understand having OCD is such a very intense situation, so I do feel for you. Um, You're a work in progress, William. All of us are, right? Brendan says, I'm getting a tat soon. Blue heart with semicolon in the middle of the left arm. Well, there you go. Alexa, good morning, Alexa says, that's essentially my plan this year is doing things I've always put off because other people, yes, keep telling me I can't do it. I am telling you, you can do anything. Good morning, Crystal. Crystal says, in my situation, I can't care for myself. Crystal, so let's talk a little bit about Crystal. Crystal is my friend who is you're a trans woman, and I think you live in Utah. But Crystal is not in a good space right now. Crystal is, I don't know. I don't really want to tell your story unless you're okay with that, Crystal, because I know that our stuff is personal. But if you're okay with me, I'll talk a little bit about you, and maybe we can get you some help on here as well. Good morning, Stephanie. It's nice to see you. So self-love, self-care. So I also want to bring this talk into, good morning, Wendy. Wendy says self-talk is important. Yes, when I hear myself talking negative in my head, I say no out loud and physically shake my head no. I take back and erase. And it's funny, I catch myself doing that all the time, my friend. I catch myself doing that all the time. I'll be like in the car, like all of a sudden I'm like, no, I can't do that. I also have this problem lately when I'm driving in Los Angeles where I get a little bit car what is it called? Road rage. I have to turn on my classical music because I'm not an angry person, but something about the insanity of the driving here makes me go crazy. Rochelle says, I'm feisty. If you tell me I can't do something, I will move heaven and earth to prove. I'm kind of that person, my friend. Why do you think I'm here? Everyone told me I would never make it. Not even, they said I wouldn't make it alive. They also said I would never make all of these toys behind us. They also said I would never become anything. They also called me dumb and stupid when I was a teenager. And here I stand. I'm with you, my friend. And in fact, when people tell me no, it empowers me. It empowers me. So let people tell you no. Use that as an actual match to light yourself under your ass. Seriously, when someone says no to you, that's a lit match right underneath your ass to put you back up and go, really? Really? Let's see about that. Crystal, my friend, says you can tell people. So let me tell you a little bit about Crystal. Crystal is a trans woman. And Crystal reached out to me because she's not doing well. She's not doing well financially, and she's not doing well in her own space. And it's a sad situation. She's homeless, and I've been homeless, so I'm very, very sensitive to that. And she is one of ours. She is part of our family. If you and I don't take care of each other, who is going to do that? It's real. It's real. I'm ashamed of people in this fucking community who do not take the time and energy to help, but they take the time and energy to talk shit. Those aren't community people. People in our community who are talking down to people or being mean and rude to people, they're not community people. Community means this, and this is what it means to me. I don't know what it means to you, but community means family. And remember when you go to your Thanksgiving dinner with your family? We all don't get along. We all have opinions. We all fucking talk shit to each other. I wish I didn't come. But the reality is we love each other. And if something happened, we would come together like this. You know that. I don't see that happening in the transgender community. And that, my friends, is very distressing for me. Because family first, and then the rest of the world. Family first builds a strong unit, builds a powerful community, and lets us move forward. But when we're shit-talking each other, and we're mean and ugly to each other, and when we have homeless trans people on the streets, and we're not helping them, shame on us. Shame on us, because that could be you. Don't think your life can't turn around in 2 seconds, and you're living in your car on the street. And what if you have to reach out to somebody? It's not going to feel very good now, is it? But if you right now are helping other people who are homeless and who are not doing well, you will get that in return. It's called abundance, and it's a real thing. So if you decide after today what I'm going to tell you that you want to help, bless you, my friend, and I think that you're an amazing part of the community. So our friend here, right, she's homeless, she's not doing well, she's a beautiful woman, and it's sad because she really wants to do well and she really wants to get out of being homeless, but she feels like there's no opportunity. We can't let her starve, and we can't let her be homeless, and it's our responsibility as a community. So, my friend and my friends here, we must reach out to Crystal because Crystal is not doing well. And she's telling me right now that she's sick and she's been getting pneumonia. You're living in Utah in your car. Is that where you are, my friend Crystal? Are you in your car? So what I'm going to suggest that you do today, Crystal, is you reach out to other people here in the B Cup, okay? And let's say where you are, and let's network Crystal with people in her community where she is so that she doesn't have to be homeless catching pneumonia. That is just disgusting and not okay. So, see, people are already reaching out to you, my friend, because that's the way community works. And that's the way I want this to work. Now, I don't want everybody all of a sudden inundating Crystal with money, even though money is good. We also have to work on helping Crystal get out of the situation. We can't just keep sending her money, even though I would love to send you thousands of dollars right now. We need to get you in a space where you are going to be secure, where you're going to get out of this situation, where you're going to get into a job, and you're going to get into a home, and you're not going to lose your car. So how do we do that? Right now, yes, everyone can donate a little bit of money, $10 from each of us, and you'll have some food. But other than that, we can't continue to do that. We need to look at the bigger picture. And I don't mean just Crystal. I'm using Crystal here as an example. As an example. How do we get our homeless trans people? Because you're not the only one, Crystal. I hear from many of you. You're not the only one. The fact that we have homeless trans people, shame on our fucking community. Do you know what Pride Wellness, the company that I built with my partner Leon, do you know what we're doing? We take $1 from each of our products to build the LGBT Homeless Senior Center. I'm building a homeless senior center here in Los Angeles attached to and I'm not telling you that because you need to pat me on the back. I'm telling you this is where I'm putting my energies. This is where I'm putting my money in order that I don't see people like Crystal on the street. It's our obligation. It is to make sure that we don't have homeless people in our community. I'm just appalled. I've been homeless, but that was a long time ago. This is 2018. Our community has money. The LGBTQ community has money. They can house you, they can do things for you, but they have to do it in order. The only way they can do that is by us giving back. You can't just take. And when Crystal gets back up on her feet, she will give back. I almost pretty much can guarantee you that. So you have to understand the whole idea of abundance and what I keep telling you. Good morning, Noah. Nice to see you from Holland. I keep telling you this. Abundance means give and take. It doesn't mean take. Abundance means this, right? We talk all day long. We figure things out. And then we go out into the world after we have our B cup and we give. However that is, I encourage you every day to give. Remember that? If you just need to buy somebody a cup of coffee or even give a homeless person $1, do it. Fucking do it. Because you are privileged right now. You're watching me on Facebook somewhere. That means you either have a phone or a laptop, a warm place to sit, light, coffee. You're privileged. If you've never been homeless, it's horrifying. I've been there. Brendan says, before my mom became more toxic, she was going to give me her land when she died. She wasn't happy I was planning on opening a shelter. Wasn't meant to be. The universe decided that wasn't going to be positive land for you. That's the way you got to look at it. Good morning, Rain. Rain says, I'm staying with someone who's emotionally abusive because I have nowhere else to go. No, you're not. You have many places to go, Rain. The emotional abuse is worse than living in your car. And I'm going to tell you that right now. Because what happens with the emotional abuse is it gets poured into your brain, and it's a very difficult thing to get rid of. Whereas if you're just in your car and you're just looking for a place to live, you're not getting inundated with this. That's going to end eventually. But this can actually stick with you for a long time. I highly recommend you get out of there. However that is, figure it out because you're smart. Wendy says, the economy in Utah is bad, Crystal. Interested in moving? Although it's beautiful, I was born in Utah. There you go. Wendy, please talk to Crystal. And Crystal, please talk to Wendy. Network like community leaders that you are and figure out maybe Crystal can move to another place. Maybe, right? That's awesome. Alex says, look at us rallying together because that's community. We are building a community here. You understand what I'm talking about? The B Cup isn't about, good morning, Dublin, Ireland. The B Cup is about building community worldwide, not just the United States, not just Los Angeles. I'm talking about Ireland. I'm talking about Holland. I'm talking about Africa. I'm talking about Asia. We need to come together as a gigantic unit. This is what I want to see in our community. Crystal says, I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't had time to think about it. I'm trying to keep JD Byrider from taking my car. I don't know who that is. We see that you're trying to survive, and we're going to help you, Crystal. Alexa says, I can't offer much, but my ears are always here to listen at my shoulder. That is a lot. Alexis, that is a lot. This is the thing that we must understand. You might not be able to donate cash. You might not be able to donate a drink or a coffee, but can you donate your ear? And can you donate a little bit of your own time to speak to somebody? Because sometimes that's all somebody needs. They just need a shoulder to cry on. They just need a big hug. They just need to say that they're loved. They just need to say that they're not forgotten. This is a big deal in our community. How do we have homeless people in our community? I mean, in general, but in our community, that's disgusting behavior on our part. We're not helping. We're not helping. Rain says, I don't have a car. I'm in New York City. It's either on the street or here. So not really an option. The shelters are all terrible and people get seriously hurt in there. Okay, I get you. Some people have also been killed. Yes, this is true. Then you need to find a way that you're not being inundated with the negativity. That's a very difficult situation that you're in, and I understand that. But we have to figure out how can you not take on the bullshit behavior that's happening to you. Because emotional abuse is horrible. Horrible. Good morning, Tori. Tori says, I'm always here 24/7 for anybody. Tori is 100% that. We kids and I just spent 8 months homeless here in Maine and didn't tell anybody, but we just got housing in November. That's awesome. Congratulations. So, I need to take a drink of my coffee. How about something like this? I thought of a good idea. Why don't we start maybe like a B Cup fund? I know they have the B Cup project. Stacy started the B Cup project. Let me look into it a little bit more, but maybe we can make like some kind of a financial donation part of that, and then we can build a little bit of a money fund, and then people like Crystal or whatever need a little bit of food. We can give them $20 to go buy, a little bit of food for the night. But I think maybe we should start something financial where we can actually just donate money out when people don't have money to eat. More important than gas, or more important than losing your car. Maybe you're supposed to lose your car, Crystal. I don't really know. But the universe is telling you something right now. You must listen. You're blocking the universe because you're just so deep down into your own despair, which is real because I know it happens. It's blocking you from seeing the big picture. What is the big picture? What is the big picture? Why are you in your car? Why are the circumstances? Circumstances put you there. So, what are the circumstances that can take you out of there? I want you to look higher. I don't want you to look lower. You're looking low, Crystal. You're feeling down and out. You're not down and out. We're going to make sure that you're taken care of. But what I want to make sure is that this doesn't become a repeated thing for you. So, why did this happen to you? What is the universe trying to tell you? And maybe you're supposed to lose your car. Maybe you're supposed to just say, that car means nothing to me. It's just a car. Now, I know you live in your car, but maybe you're not supposed to be living in your car. And maybe by living in your car, it's actually blocking you from moving forward because you're relying so much on your car to be your home that you're not, and you're so scared to lose your car because you know what I always tell you, kids out there, fear is a block. So if you're fearing losing your car, you're also fearing of moving forward. So how do we get you in a space that says, if I lose my car, it's not the end of the world? It's not the end of the world. It's not. There are places for you to go. That is a fact. So instead of stressing on your car payment, because that's the last thing you need to be stressing on, you need to be worried about where am I going to live? How am I going to eat? And where am I going to get a job? Because I'm pretty sure, Crystal, you want to have a job. I'm pretty sure you don't want to be putting your hand out asking. I have that feeling from you. But you're in a situation right now where you have to ask. But I know when you get back into your other situation, you're going to be in a place where you can actually give back to the community. And I feel that from you. So that's one of the things I also want to keep talking to you about. You cannot just take. If you've been lucky enough to have people in this community help you, I hope to God when you get back on your feet again, you remember that, and you must give back to this community. It's why I do it. I'm not homeless anymore. I'm extremely successful because people helped me get off the street, and people helped me get sober, and people helped me gain what? Me, and taught me how to walk the world as a positive, awesome, focused person. I wasn't that person, but people saved my life and they helped me. And it's why today I give back. Because I was given. I took from the universe. And now it's my time to give back to the universe. You must remember that. It is a big part of growing, and it's a big part of becoming successful in your life. Through hardship, you learn more about yourself and the world around you. If you can learn something from something negative, then you've turned that experience into something positive. Right? Even learning on every day. But you're 100% right, Brandon. Crystal says, yeah, not just here in Utah. I really need to get... Yes, you need to get out of Utah, Crystal. I mean, California isn't far. I think Nevada isn't far. Those are all great places. And I'm sure I could connect you with community people. And in the B Cup, we have community people from those areas. So if anybody is in this talk right now, in the B Cup, who is from Nevada or California, Crystal needs to get out of Utah. On many levels, you need to. Not only because of the weather, but I just don't think it's friendly for you to be there. That's just my feeling. I could be totally wrong. Rain says, Crystal, I'm right here in the same place as you. I hope your situation gets better. I'm sure it will soon. See? So you two connect and talk, and you'll make each other feel a little bit more secure about your situation. It's temporary. Temporary. Did I say that right? Temporary. It's temporary. Everything in your life is temporary. It's a real thing. You're always going to be growing. You're always going to come into obstacles. Things are always, your bank account is sometimes going to get low, if anything, and then sometimes it's going to be really high. That's temporary. Everything moves. Sometimes you're going to run out of coffee. Sometimes you're not. It's temporary. It's a real thing. Now you need to take control of your own life, Crystal, and you need to make a huge, if you look at it the positive way, Crystal, you're in a space where you can actually change it. You can change your situation, but you have to want to change it. Good morning, Mandy on YouTube. I see you. So it's getting time for me to go. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Me Too the Me Too campaign. Is that what we call it? Which is a very, very important thing that's happening. Movement. The Me Too movement. I really want to talk a little bit about that because I think it's an important movement and I think it's changing so much of this idea that you can just touch somebody or that you can force somebody in a situation or that, and it's mostly from male to female, right? And this hierarchy that we have in our society that men are more powerful than women and men use that power sexually in order to get women to do things that they want, right? This is inappropriate and disgusting behavior, as we know. But it's been going on for probably centuries. I'm pretty sure of it, right? It's been going on for a long time. I think it started to happen when men realized how powerful women were. And when men realized how powerful vagina is, and I'm not just dwindling down women to a vagina because I have a vagina too and I'm not a woman, but vagina is very powerful. That said, I think men got a little bit scared somewhere way 100 million years ago, women, and saw the power in women. So what did they do? They immediately squashed that power by over-dominating them. And with that over-domination, and this is just my opinion, it's not truth or fact, it's my opinion about why maybe we're in a situation like this, because men are scared of women. And so they squashed them because they got scared of the power. Because what do we call powerful women? Bitches, whores. Like, we just name women who are in power as if they're bad people, which is totally ridiculous. We would never say that about a powerful man. It's ridiculous behavior, but it happens. And we know that. For me, what I see in the bigger picture is men being fearful of women. And that's why they use this masculine power to dominate women. And part of that masculine power is sexually dominating women and using a sexual situation in order to get domination. It has nothing to do with sex. It has everything to do with power. That's my opinion. Rain says, honestly, I'm trying to save whatever money I can get and leave the country. I'm a vet, and the services they have for homeless vets is a joke. I know. I'm sorry, Rain. The fact that you're a vet and you need to say that, that's a whole other conversation. So, Me Too is a huge, amazing thing. Okay? A huge, amazing thing. It is outing this bullshit behavior. It is bringing attention to things that need to bring attention to, and I commend everyone who's coming out and talking about this situation. But as you see, it's becoming something very huge, and some people are saying some of the things people are saying are just bullshit behavior and blah, blah, blah. That's not a cool thing. But we need to have a discussion about what is what. What is? But I think the situation is this. It's a very difficult situation and a very difficult talk to have. Because what happened to me might not seem important to you, but it could seem important to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, it's given a boost to all kinds of talk. Child abuse. Have you been abused as a child? Right, totally. And that's why I think it's a brilliant, amazing program. But that said, what does it really mean? And is there a line? Is there a line of abuse? Is there a line of the man touched me and that was sexual? Is there? Or is there, and again, this is conversation. It is not fact and it is not my opinion. It is conversation. I want to know, like, eventually will there be a space where men cannot touch a woman on the shoulder because that immediately feels sexual to you? For me, as a woman, that never felt, when I was a woman, very sexual to me. But for some women, it does. For some women, it feels very disconnecting and it feels very dominating and it feels very uncomfortable. But not all women feel that way. So now, where do we draw the line? Do you understand what I'm talking about? This is a very important conversation. Where do we draw the line? Everybody's experience is different. That's the number one thing we have to understand with the Me Too movement. What I feel is abusive to me might not feel abusive to you. So how do we have that conversation that, again, this is everybody's experience? Just talking about it is huge. And just bringing up this conversation is huge. And we must respect everybody's choice on saying what they're saying. That said, how do we fix the problem? Because some man is going to touch your knee. Some man is going to want to hug you. I hug everybody. I don't shake hands. I actually hug people. So is that now going to be a situation where some women feel that I'm over dominating? I don't ever want to feel that way. But I'm a big hugger. And look at me. I'm a dude who could be, sort of looked at as a dominating kind of man. But I'm a big lover. But I like to hug. I don't like to shake. But now am I going to be in a situation where maybe I hug the wrong lady and she's not comfortable, right? Right? So, and I always say that to people. I always say this. When they go to shake my hand, I go, I'm a hugger. Let's hug. So I always make that distinction there before. I don't just grab you and hug you. I always say to you, I'm a hugger. I'm not a shaker. So, and everyone always lets me hug them. I don't know if it's just because I'm a certain kind of man and it's my vagina and my vagina doesn't make people feel uncomfortable, right? Always ask, 100%, my friend Lorena. Yes, but where's the line? How do we talk about this in a very adult, mature way? I think maturity is what the word I was looking for. We need to have mature conversations around these things. Because when you don't have mature conversations, they turn into something else. Because they become very emotional, you become emotionally attached to that talk, and then you can't express an actual mature conversation, right? So, thank you. I appreciate that, Phoenix. And so, Tori says, Me Too has opened the door for everyone to talk about all abuse. 100%. It's a brilliant thing. I will never say anything except that, but let's have a big talk about it, right? Because what's abusive to me might not be abusive to you. What's overstepping the line for you might not. We need to retrain. And we need to talk to men. We can't just keep this in a female format. We cannot. It is now very important that women take this powerful movement, right? And go to the next level, which is to re-educate men about what it means for a woman to feel abused. And it doesn't have to be, we're doing everything from actual real sexual assault all the way to being touched. You understand what I'm saying? All the way to being touched. And that is the Me Too movement. And that's great, because some people don't want to be touched by a man and it feels very inappropriate. It feels inappropriate. I will have to disagree with that on my level. But even when I was a woman, men used to touch me all the time. I never felt assaulted or that. So is it a person-to-person thing? Of course it is, 100%. But how do we stop this behavior? We can't just have this conversation and not figure out how to fix it, right? I'm about fixing a problem. I'm not about just talking about the problem and just putting it out there. That's why I don't like call-out behavior. It's exactly why I don't like call-out behavior. Because call-out behavior creates a negativity. I'm calling you out, Buck. You said grab my pussy. That's toxic behavior. Okay, so what do we do next? How do we have the conversation to make sure that I don't make you feel like I'm toxic? And I can't make you feel anyway. That's your own feelings. But how do we have the bigger conversation of retraining men to understand women don't like it when you do these certain things, right? Phoenix says, men are abused, but they are trained to man up. So they don't 100%. And that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole lot. But right now, people don't want to talk about male abuse because right now it's the women's time. It's the female time to talk about abuse, and we need to give them that space. I really believe that because women have been what? Squashed for many, many, many centuries. Women have been squashed from their voices from fear. So now we need to give women this voice because we need to stop this behavior. And the only way to stop this behavior is to have conversation. Mature conversation, not, I don't like what you're saying because that's negative. No, no, it doesn't work. You cannot make change without having dialogue. You cannot make change without finding how to fix the problem. Not just talking about the problem. That's the first step. The second step is fixing the problem, right? That's what I'm trying to talk about here. The Me Too movement is powerful, beautiful, but the next step is fixing the problem. And for me, I think to fix the problem is we need to talk to men and we need to talk to that behavior that they are taught. Remember, that's learned behavior. That's not natural behavior. I don't think men come popping out of their mothers and are all like, I'm an abuser. No, that's learned behavior. Men aren't naturally abusive. That's the message that I think we need to really take to a higher level. Men are not naturally abusive. That is socially constructed behavior. I'm not abusive. I'm not abusive. I'm a man who loves people and is very compassionate, very vulnerable. I cry all the time, you know it. And I would never overstep my boundaries of touch. But how did I learn that behavior? Because I used to be a woman. Remember? I was socialized as a woman. And I think that really helped me become a very much more sensitive, less aggressive type of male. Because my socialization was that, what you women have been socialized to do. And because of that, I think it made me into a much more sensitive, much more understanding male. So how do I take what I have learned in my life and start to talk to men about their behavior and why it is inappropriate behavior? What they have learned needs to be thrown out and they need to relearn. I talk about it all the time in my talks across the world. I talk about every behavior you have is learned behavior. Every behavior. You can actually change your behavior if you want to. Rain says, to have a mature conversation, though, all parties have to be open to dialogue and honest criticism. 100%. And that's what we do here. Sometimes that has to start small. And that's why the B Cup is awesome, because we're all mature here. Zoan says, I agree with all of this. I try to explain to people that most men don't know they don't squashing women because yes, it's real. I'm telling you as a man, I'm around men all the time. Cisgender men. It's their natural, wrong word. It's not natural. It's their learned behavior. They just think it's okay to act that way. Casey said, it should be okay for women to say they feel uncomfortable and to not feel. That's what I'm saying, Casey. But women shouldn't even have to say that. They shouldn't even have to say that. Men don't say that. Men don't say, I'm uncomfortable with this. No, they never say that because they're not uncomfortable. Why aren't they uncomfortable? Why are men not uncomfortable but women are? Because men are dominating the situation. Remember, I'm a human rights activist. I believe in this. I'm a feminist. I believe, and feminism is human rights. Feminism is saying we are all equal. You are not better than me. You are not lesser than me. You're a man. I'm a woman. You're gender nonconforming. You're a they. You're black. You're white. No. We all have to be on a level. That's humanity. And that's where I'm coming from. But right now, men are dominating women because why? Because they have been socially constructed to be that way. I'm a believer of that. Because why am I not that way? Right? How to stop rape. Teach boys that rape is, well, I mean, that's a whole other thing. But you know what rape is. That's a whole other conversation, why people rape. That's an anger thing. That's an anger and hate towards women. So why are we teaching boys to hate girls? Rachel says, so many excuses that society uses so many times that I told, it's bullshit. Except boys will be boys. But that's the way we've been socially, right? We've been socially constructing male behavior by saying shit like that for a long time. So just turn the point around. I gotta go, you guys. Getting late. Turn it around. Imagine if you were a guy right now and you were being raised. You're not a woman, but you're a man and you're a little boy. And when you're a little boy, these are the things you're hearing. Boys will be boys. You can do those things. Boys get treated a lot different than girls growing up. They have a lot more open leeway to do things. They get to go out more than girls do. Girls are always, and I know I'm doing this from my own opinion and my own behavior of being raised as a girl. All the guys always got to go out, but we had to stay home because my parents were too scared that something would happen to us because we were girls. But there's the boys going out, and that's okay. That is a good example right there of already as a child, you're being told as a woman that you're lesser than and that men can take care of themselves, but women aren't. And I was learning that at 10 years old. I was learning that boys have more power than girls, and that the boys can go play on the street until 10 p.m., but the girls can't because something might happen. So imagine that was being put into my brain, and that's being put into every girl and boy's brain, right? So Rain says, prime example is the swimmer that got 6 months in prison, of course, for raping and bullshit. It's a prime example. Prime example. Rachel says, my friend started the tea consent, Mimi. If a woman says no, you wouldn't still give her a cup of tea. That's good. Okay, kids. Oh, hi, Victoria. Nice to see you, my friend on YouTube. I'm going to let YouTube go. I appreciate you guys always showing up and being part of the conversation. It's so important. Go to the day and create that change because it's up to you to do that. What you don't like to see and what you think is wrong, you have the power to change it, but you have to participate. It's not up to me and it's not up to everybody else. It's up to you to create the change that you want to see, okay? I love you. You see where it says that? It's a real thing. I'll see you guys tomorrow.